All right, welcome back to Adventure's Edge. Again, this is DM Don talking about what do you need to know when you're diving in to make your character for the first time. So we've hit a lot of the big highlights, right? So you kind of should at this point kind of understand how skills and proficiencies work. You understand the importance of all your stats and what to look for with your race and your class, and writing down your class abilities and your race abilities. So once you get all that done and you've filled in all the blanks, you've picked out your spells, you picked out your uh, combat maneuvers, right? So you made all these choices, and then comes the fun part, right? Now it's time to go shopping. So every class, no matter what, every character, this is not class based, starts out with 300 plus 5d20 silver crowns. You'll see that silver crowns pretty much is going to be like the base coinage. We can talk about coins because there's gold royals, there's silver crowns. There are 10 silver crowns and one gold royal, and then there are copper pennies, but there's 100 copper pennies and one silver crown. So all of the price charts, when you're looking at them, are all going to be in silver crowns. So you're going to start out with 300 plus 5d20 silver crowns. So this is one of the only variable starting resources. So once you've determined what that is, you don't start out with much by default. A couple of the classes have some starting things. Everybody gets to start out with one, what's considered a fine item that costs less than 100 silver crowns. Now, I need to type this up because I think it's just been in my head. If you want a fine item that costs more, you can spend some of your starting money to bump it up. And what a fine item is just a nicer quality item, and all it really does for you initially is it has one extra breakage point. I'm not going to cover breakage rules because it's not going to cover that right now, but that is important. But more importantly, the fine items, right? Should be something that gives you a little story point. Is where did you get this item? And we'll talk about background stuff, but like I don't want or like complex, huge background stories at all. Really, it should be like a paragraph, maybe two, tops. But this item should just be something that you were gifted, whatever reason, has some sentimental value to your character. But mechanically, beyond just it's got one extra breakage point, which it's nice, but let's be honest, it's not a big deal. Is that when it comes to enchanting items, this game has a very robust enchanting system, and magicians, if somebody's going to play one, can enchant items, right? And you need to have, at bare minimum, a fine item to start with. So if you are a role player who likes the idea of like, oh, this is my father's sword or whatever it is, and you're going to start off and like, all right, well, we're going to save up and I'm going to find the ingredients to improve this sword and take it to somebody who can enchant it, right? So then you can take this item and keep it for the life of your character and make it, from a role-playing perspective, just part of your character's identity. So I like that idea of being able to start with something that gives you a little story point to have. So everybody gets to start off with something. It can be anything, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a weapon. Just a little story point. So you get a fine item worth under 100 silver crowns. So, I mean, when you're talking about martials, you're probably going to pick a weapon or a piece of armor or something like that. But again, whatever it can be. Maybe it's a really fancy helmet. So outside of that, you get the clothes on your back. They're just, you get pants, shoes, shirt, socks, that type of thing, whatever you're wearing. And then then you have to buy everything else that you're going to take on your trip with you. So in my list of things yet to write are like some kits, like some recommended starting, like, all right, what do I need to buy? Because there's like this a large list of equipment. This game is very equipment focused, right? Because you have to worry about environmental factors. Depending on what the adventure takes you, if you're going to be traveling out in the cold, you need to worry about cold weather gear or you're going to freeze to death, right? So there are things to factor in. So the starting equipment really needs to be kind of determined based upon what the game is going to be about. So we'll talk about that in our session 0 for the games that I run. Like what type of gear do we need? Like if you're going to be playing in an urban game, you don't really need to spend money on bedrolls and tents and stuff, right? Because you're not going to be out there camping or worry about trying to get mounts, right? Because you're going to be in an urban environment. If you're going to be doing trekking to the woods and like hardcore traditional adventuring, well, that's when it's like, well, okay, well, I need a backpack and who's got the rope and that type of thing. So before you go buying all this cool gear, yeah, definitely make sure you have an idea of what gear you need and like what environment you're going to be dealing with. And especially like food, daily supplies, water, that type of thing. It's kind of realistic in that sense. It's like, yeah, you need to be kitted out for what you're going to do. So you'll have all this starting money, go look at the equipment list, have a talk with your game master. I think that's all I'm going to really say about that there. And all right, that's it. We're going to jump to the next topic. Thanks.